What's up, guys? We are back again for some more One Piece action. We're back off a break. Let's see, are we going to find out what Sabo has to tell Dragon and Ivankov? Are we going to see who's on that ship of Blackbeard's heading to Egghead Island? So many possibilities we can go, so let's jump right into this chapter. One Piece chapter 1083. The truth about that day. Alright, so it looks like we're going to jump into getting Sabo's explanation from judging from the title. But let's see. Okay, so we got Dofi on the cover. Says Doflamingo tending to a fallen chick and making a nest with his coat. Alright, so he's got those pink flamingo feathers, making a little nest for the bird. Alright, a little bit different side of Dofi, but let's see what we got in this chapter. Okay, so starting right off, okay, so we're heading right back to the Kamabaka Kingdom. And it says, what did Sabo see? Alright, so we see Morley there, and we see a bunch of the other revolutionaries kind of around. And it says, we accomplished everything we set out to do. Alright, that must be Sabo talking. It says, all three objectives were taken care of. Alright, so apparently the Revolutionaries, when they invaded, it was more than just getting Kuma back from Reverie. Looks like they actually had some other objectives, so let's see what they are. It says, we officially declared war. Alright, so that's one. By destroying the Celestial Dragon symbol. Alright, so in the first panel we see, was that the soaring hoof symbol right there? So I guess they destroyed that. We rescued Kuma-san and freed as many slaves as possible. Alright. And then let's see. And finally, we managed to find and destroy the Holy Land's food reserves. Alright, so we have declare war, save Kuma and the other slaves, and then destroy Marijoa's food reserves. And they said, so what was the fallout? It was nothing to sneeze at, but we got the world's attention, and the Navy ended up sending in the big guns. Alright, so he must be talking about the admirals when they showed up. And then, okay, so Dragon, he says, meanwhile, we triggered uprising in 12 nations where we held strong influence, 8 of which were successful. Alright, so all these actions kind of, not only were things happening at Marijoa, but these were inspiring things around the globe, revolutions around the globe. And then Ivankov says, well, you say 8 were successful, but one of them vanished the kingdom of Leloucha. Alright, so Leloucha, we saw from last chapter, Bello Betty, she's like, oh, I remember you guys from Leloucha. But as we know, their whole entire island just got destroyed. But let's see. Dragon says, the headline censored everything, but the 7 others have all declared their intent to no longer pay the celestial tribute or comply with the exploitative exporting of their resources. Damn, that was hard to say. And then Ivankov chimes in. He's like, on top of that, the Revolutionary Army is attacking government supply carriers all over the world to stop resources from reaching Marijoa. Alright, so it looks like the Revolutionaries are kind of trying to squeeze Marijoa right now. They're cutting off all their supply chains. They destroyed the actual food reserve that they had at Marijoa. So they're really tightening that grip around them, forcing the world government to either act or do something, right? And then it says, they say the Holy Land's high up location makes it an impenetrable fortress, but it's only impenetrable for however long they can stay up there. If they don't got food to survive up there, they're gonna have to come down, right? Alright, so that's pretty smart. And then he says, but we'll see how they like living under siege. They'll finally get a taste of what it is to live in poverty and go hungry. Alright, so I kind of like that. So not only are they, going against them and attacking them and putting them under siege, but it also kind of has a double meaning. Like now you get to experience what you've made the rest of the world experience for the last 800 years. Poverty, starving, that feeling that you're always under attack or under watch. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. And then we see Ivankov, he jumps up and he's like, hee-haw! And he's like, that's what I call a result. Indeed, we may not be able to cut off all their supplies, but we're squeezing them slowly but surely. They must be struggling by now. Alright, but the only thing I can see kind of being a potential side effect, the more you squeeze the world government and Marijoa, the more that they are going to try and squeeze out resources from the kingdoms that are still under their control. So until they're liberated, they might start to bear more of the brunt force of the world government's wrath, because the Marijoa is not gonna go under. They're not gonna go starving. You know what I mean? They'll make every other kingdom starve and take all their food and money before they'll let the celestial dragons, will be like, oh, I'll skip a meal. So moving the world into a very interesting place right now. And the dragon says, as expected though, they're not a foe who will just take all this lying down. Our real battle will start when they mobilize. God's Knights. Alright, who the hell is God's Knights? Who is that referring to? And then Ivankov's like, you realize you will be their number one target, right, Sabo? Or should I start calling you Flame Emperor Boy? And then you see Sabo, he's like, oh, I'm not too hot on that name. Like, please don't call me that. But then Dragon's like, it doesn't matter what the truth behind King Cobra's assassination is. The news reports have made you a hero already. Oh, damn. Okay, so Dragon starts pouring out a drink for the three of them. He's like, in the eyes of revolutionaries everywhere, authority figures within the world government are hated for being subhuman monsters. While there are certainly many malignant, power-hungry despots who deserve that reputation, there are also a number of intelligent and fair rulers too. Yep. So we know Cobra was definitely one of those. He wanted to protect his people. Then you have people like King Riku from Dressrosa. That was also, you know, a good and kind king. You have what's his name? The guy from, you know, the King Punch, Riku's friend. But it says, in Alabasta, King Cobra was in a class of his own. Everyone considered him to be an outstanding sovereign. Unfortunately, misinformation spreads faster than nuances like that. This might be cold to say, but while I feel bad for what happened to King Cobra. Oh, alright, Sabo, what are you going to say? Sounds like you're about to say something a little bit controversial, or unless you're going to say what happened to him is the spark that was needed for, you know, to really have the revolutionary fire catch on. He's like, I think I can live with the way this all played out if it helps fuel the flames of the rebellion. Yep, called it. So, you know, he's not glad that King Cobra, you know, obviously was assassinated, but at the same time, he's going to look at the benefit and be like, if that assassination, if losing his life is what is going to spark the flame to save the entire world and to get them out from underneath the world government's, you know, thumb, like, so be it. Like, I can live with that, you know what I mean? Still a tough pill to swallow. You know, Vivi had to lose her father, and he's like, Ma, you really are unshakable. Then spit it out already. Oh, okay, so we're about to get some info. It says King Cobra assassinate. Damn! And they got a picture of this man standing over Cobra's dead body. Like, what's going on? What really happened? Is there any truth behind this scoop? Alright, I cannot for the life of me believe that Sabo did it. Doesn't seem like he did it, but let's see. We all shed tears over this, desperately trying to find an explanation because we all wanted to believe in you. And okay, judging from the look on Sabo's face when he's looking at this headline, like, he's like, oh, hell no. These dudes trying to pin this on me. And he's like, over a month ago, at the home of the gods in the holy land of Marijois, not long after the Reverie began, they're attacking the home of the gods. Alright, so this must be when Sabo and the other revolutionary commanders began to make their move in the middle of Reverie. And then, okay, I know this is going to sound a little messed up, but part of me is so happy to see this panel, to see the celestial dragons running in terror from their perfect little lives where they get to just extort everyone in the world. Like, to see them have to actually move on their own and be actually, you know, terror. Like, oh, that feels good to see it. You know what I mean? He's like, they're like, get out here and help us, you lousy bureaucrats. They blew up the storehouse. The intruders are with the Revolutionary Army. We're under attack. And they're like, it's the four captains. So everyone up there is freaking out right now. Love it, you know, in this flashback. And then he's like, who is that? Is that, the stupid one, I think that Luffy punch. I forget what his name is. He's like, this is outrageous. First they attacked our beloved symbol, and now the plebs have taken away our exquisite food. Does the jealousy of these vermin know no bounds? I don't even want to keep the heads, just dispose of them at once. Alright, so that just shows you kind of like how out of touch with reality that these celestial dragons really are. You know, they're thinking, oh, they're attacking us because they're jealous of the good food that we're having. It's like, no, they're not jealous of the things that you have. They're just sick and tired of taking your crap and being abused. They don't care about having this exquisite food, you know, as long as their families can eat. So it just, like I said, it really shows you how out of touch the celestial dragons are with, you know, the rest of humanity and real people. And then the next panel says, after that, summon all those dreadful bodyguards and have them executed. Those miserable wretches allowed this to happen on their watch. So, yeah, look at that. Even the people that, you know, would be the ones to go and help them in this situation, all they're going to get for helping them is the celestial dragon's wrath. They're going to get executed. Like, who the hell would want to help these people? Like, how just ignorant can you be to think I'm going to abuse and beat the crap out of people and they're just going to constantly do what I tell them? I'm going to execute them, execute their family, their friends, because I didn't like the way they acted, and still expect them to do it. Like, no, someone's just going to have enough, and, you know, they're just going to stab you no matter the cost of what happens to them. They're going to take you out, because if you're gone, well, that's one less person that can patronize their families and their friends and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm really hoping the Celestial Dragons just get obliterated, and, you know, I'm sure they probably won't. Luffy's a good guy. He won't annihilate them, but, you know, make them work as, like, not slaves, because I don't think that would be kind of messed up, but, you know, make them live in just real basic minimum wage type lives for the rest of their lives. Like, that's all you'll ever be able to get, no matter how hard you work. This is just the bare minimum life that you will be allowed to live for your entirety of your life, because you people have done this for 800 years to the entire world. Now it's your turn to experience it. But anyways, so then we see the guy on the ground. He's like, "You depraved snail, I told you to hurry. What would you do if something were to happen to me?" And we just see him, they're just beating on their slaves. He's like, "I have had enough. I'll walk myself. Consider yourself fired, you useless piece of trash." And he pulls out the gun and he's about to shoot this old pirate guy. And then all of a sudden, someone swoops in right there, knocks the gun out of his hand right as he's about to fire it. And okay, we got Karasu right there. And we just see, you know, he's muttering, can't really understand what he's saying. Crowing suit. And the dude's like, "Huh? My gun?" He's like, "Who do you think you are?" Beautiful. And then we see, okay, so it looks like one of the crows is going over to him. He's like, "Escape to the east of the city." Huh? Where? Okay. So I guess the crow has the ability to speak as well, or Karasu has the ability to speak through the crow or something like that. And they're like, "It's the Revolutionary Army." And you just see Karasu, he looks like he's getting all shot up into his, you know, black crows. And then what do we got? Okay, so it looks like, I'm guessing these are the Cipher Pol guys that have been showing up. And it says, "Get Saint Pluming to safety. Let's riddle this scum with bullets. Blast him till there's nothing left." So you see the Celestial Dragon in the back, and then all the Cipher Pol guys are running in front of him, you know, to try and take out Karasu right now. And then, I mean, it literally looks like they're shooting him into nothingness. They're like, there really is nothing left. Don't tell me he's a... And okay, I think they're starting to realize, like, oh no, he's a devil fruit user. There's more to this power. And they're like, shh. And then all of a sudden, they just get annihilated by Karasu flying past them. Kind of reminds me of like a Brook-style attack, you know, where you see him walking past and then the attack finishes and they go flying up. And it says, Obelio suit. Something like that. I don't know what it is. It says, Northern Captain of the Revolutionary Army, Karasu, ate the suit fruit. Alright, so I'm guessing that's crow, or that means crow or something. And then we see laser shooter. So the chains are being shot off by a laser right now. And, okay, so that's, what's his name? Lindbergh, the little cat one, or I think he's a cat. Says, "Hurry up, gather at the east side of the city. We're gonna get you out of here, okay?" And we see all the slaves, they're just running, and they're like, thank you so much. Thank us when you're free." And then, okay, yep, and then it names Lindbergh right there, and he's kind of, you know, flying with his jetpack above the top of the city. And then he just sees this big explosion kind of off in the distance. And then it says, they're really going at it over there. Alright, so that must be where, I'm guessing Fujitora and Green Bull are clashing with Sabo and them. And then it says, "They're headed this way. Hurry up and rescue everyone, please." And then he's like, Lindbergh's like, "Leave it to me." And it looks, okay, so we see Karasu, looks like he's rushing in to attack Fujitora right there, or to hold him off, I should say. And then Fujitora, you know, claps back at him, it looks like. Okay, what do we got right here? Ooh, okay, now we got Morley taking on Green Bull right there. And it says, "Oh my, this boy sure likes to play rough." And you see Green Bull, he's all like treed out, and he's kind of big and massive, like the same size as Morley right there.
He's like, you're the ones who are destroying the city. Just cough up where your leader went off to. You shouldn't sniff around and stalk people, you dirty little perv. All right, so they're just, going at it. You see Morley's spear is actually through Green Bull's hand right there. And then it says, you're as bad as him. Watch where you're swinging. All right, so the devastation coming off of their fight is, starting to destroy the town, but they're blaming each other like, you're breaking the town. No, you're breaking the town. And then it says, okay, so this looks like one of the celestial dragons, like, Ryukugu, you bastard. I'll see to it that you hang if any of us get hurt. And then he's like, damn it, it's impossible to fight here. And then he's like screaming, he's like, get out of the way already then. All right, a little ballsy from him, actually snapping back, a little clap back at the celestial dragons. And then what do we got? Okay, so it looks like Fujitora is getting ready to bring down one of his asteroids or something. Fujitora, what do you think you're doing? Oh, he's calling it. He's like, I'm calling in a meteor strike. Like, what else would I be doing? He's like, don't be an idiot. That's a terrible idea. Like, if you guys remember back in Dressrosa and on Greenbit, like, when Fujitora just starts bringing in, meteor showers, like, it's pretty devastating. And he's about to launch this attack in the middle of Mary's Wall. Like, there's definitely going to be some fallout. But, I mean, they are facing off against, like, Karasu and Sabo and the Revolutionary captains. Like, this is no light enemy that you can, take on with kid gloves. And they're like, there are 2 admirals here. If we were anywhere but the home of the gods, that'd be more than enough power to turn any battlefield upside down. And then, okay, we got, looks like all the OG Cipher Pol CP9 guys. So you got Jabra, what's his name? The little round one, Khalifa. You got Bluno in the background, Kumadori. And he says, even if you ignore the handicap, the revolutionary captains are doing well to stand their ground. Just goes to show they're no pushovers. And then we see, okay, so we haven't actually, now that I'm looking at it, we haven't actually seen Sabo engaged in any of these fights right now. So far, it's been Lindbergh kind of leading the charge as far as getting the slaves out of there. And then Morley and Karasu are the ones kind of taking on Green Bull and Fujitora. So I'm guessing maybe that means that Sabo is kind of exploring right now, or they're, because everything is going on, he's using that as subterfuge to kind of infiltrate further into Marriage Wall, maybe learn some secrets. Maybe this is how he's going to get kind of linked to what happens with King Cobra and, whatever we're about to find out from him. So it says, okay, so Karasu, he's calling into Sabo. He's like, Sabo, don't you have the keys to these collars yet? He's like, I just found out where they keep them. It won't be long. Okay, so that's what Sabo's doing. So while Karasu and all them are battling and Lindbergh's getting everyone out, Sabo infiltrated into the castle, or I'm guessing that's the castle, in order to get the keys to everyone's collars so they can take them off. Like, he can't be, I don't know if he has the capability like Rayleigh and Luffy to kind of rip off those collars, and I definitely don't know if he could rip them off of everyone all, fast enough to get everyone out of there before they got attacked again. So we see Sabo, he's inside, he's running around, you see the flames coming off his feet, and okay, he's calling into Lindbergh. He's like, what's up? He's like, oh, okay, so this is how they kind of find out about Kuma. He's like, Kuma-san's in Pangaea Castle too. And they're like, what? Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo. And then, okay, so it's just like we saw in Reverie, they're riding on top of him. He's like, I just spotted him with that dumb father and son, Saint Duo, Roswald, and Charlos. They must be still looking to get revenge for that thing we heard about at the public courtyard. What the hell? Okay, so they're still pissed about, what happened with Doflamingo kind of taking them out when they were trying to steal Shirahoshi. He's like, he hasn't given up on getting Shirahoshi. I'll make her my pet. Okay, God, someone just beat his ass. He is annoying. And then it says, I won't forgive them for using Kuma-san like this. All right, so that must be Sabo talking, since he's the one that can see them. He's like, yeah, we won't let them get away with it. Morley, make sure everything's ready. Okie dokie. All right, so I guess they have a plan in place, because it sounds like there's something Morley's got to do in order to get ready to take this next step. And then, okay, now we're cutting over. So if you guys remember, Bonnie had also infiltrated Revelry and made it kind of all the way to the holy part where all the celestial dragons live by changing her age and changing her size and everything like that. And we see Bonnie, she's like, "Father." And then what do we got here? Can't you buzz off? I'd rather have Vice Admiral Garp's help. Don't worry, we'll protect you. Okay, so he's talking to, this is Lucci talking to Vivi right here. And then she's like, "Oh, like you protected Shirahoshi? Oh, wait, you didn't. All right." So Vivi got a little attitude with her. I like it. He's like, "And that creep's definitely going to target her again." And then what do we got? It says, "I'm afraid only King Cobra has been permitted an audience with the 5 elders." Okay, do they assassinate him and Sabo infiltrates, and that's how they kind of snapped a picture of him standing over Cobra? They're like, but, Chaka, Pell. It's okay. So we see Cobra. He's sitting in a wheelchair, it looks like. So definitely his health is definitely taking a turn downhill, you know. He's like, "This won't take long, and it would be tedious for you to wait outside. It'd be a much better use of your time to look out for Vivi. She's always been a mischievous one. You can't let her out of your sight for a second. What is the purpose of this meeting?" All right, guys. So that's how the chapter ends. Like, I feel like we kind of got cooked a little bit because this is basically, we already knew kind of all this stuff happened, but we kind of set up for what actually goes down with Cobra. Did Sabo see, when did he see Imu? You know what I mean? When exactly does Cobra get killed? Does he get killed inside the room with the 5 elders, the Gorosei, or what exactly happened? So this just kind of, I feel like, was kind of more of a refresher chapter, a little more in-depth explanation, kind of setting up all the little moving pieces that we have been alluded to from other chapters, piecing together stuff about the Revolutionaries at the Reverie. So I'm hoping we get to jump right into this meeting, going into the next chapter when we start up, see exactly what happened, see if Sabo, infiltrates it, when exactly does Sabo see Imu, and, everything that kind of happens, what happens with Bonnie, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is a solid chapter, definitely a good chapter, setup chapter, I would definitely describe it as. But let me know what you guys saw of this chapter. Let me know if I missed anything, or if you guys kind of saw something a little bit differently than I interpreted it. Definitely leave me a comment so I can check it out. And yeah, have a wonderful day, guys.